नमस्कार फ्रेंड, आप सभी का एक बार फिर से स्वागत। फ्रेंड्स, केरला हाई कोर्ट ने एक डिसीजन दिया। गवर्नमेंट सर्वेंट रिटायर्ड ऑन लास्ट वर्किंग डे ऑफ प्रीसीडिंग मंथ whose annual increments fall due in succeeding month is entitled to such increment। एक जजमेंट ये केरला हाई कोर्ट ने दिया। द केरला हाई कोर्ट has observed that a government servant who retired on the last working day of the preceding month and whose annual increments falls due in the succeeding month is entitled to such increment. The court allowed the writ petition in light of a previous judgment titled Decesion PR versus Union of India 65 of 23 in a batch of petitions where the court answered the issue in favor of the government servants. The petitioner, even in the cited judgment, were retired from their respective establishment on attaining the age of superannuation. To surmise on the date of their retirement, they earned an annual increment which, however, was due and payable only on the very next day. The court concluded a government servant is granted the annual increment on the basis of his good conduct while rendering 1 year service. Increments are given annually to officers with good conduct unless such increments are withheld as a measure of punishment or linked with efficiency. Therefore, the increment is earned for rendering service with good conduct in a year a specified period. Therefore, the moment a government servant has rendered service for a specified period with good conduct in a time scale, he is entitled to get annual increment, and it can be said that he has earned the annual increment for rendering the specified period of service with good conduct. Therefore, as such, he is entitled to the benefit of the annual increment on the eventuality of having served for a specified period 1 year with good conduct efficiently. Merely because the government servant has retired on the very next day, how can he deny the annual increment which he has earned and or is entitled to for rendering the service with good conduct and efficiently in the preceding year? Thus, it was specifically found that denying the benefit which has been earned by an employee for reason of not being in service on the date on which it occurs would lead to arbitrariness and the unreasonableness. The High Court had then eventually directed the respondent to grant one notional increment to the petitioner and also to revise their retirement benefit after including such annual increment. This case title is K.N. Soman versus Union of India, यानी कि केरला हाई कोर्ट ने ये जजमेंट दे दिया कि द गवर्नमेंट सर्वेंट हु रिटायर्ड ऑन द लास्ट वर्किंग डे ऑफ द प्रीसीडिंग मंथ एंड हुज annual increment falls due in succeeding month, आने वाले महीने में, he is entitled to such increment, यानी कि रिटायरमेंट के बाद भी उस एनुअल इंक्रीमेंट का वो हकदार है, वो इंटाइटल है। थैंक यू फ्रेंड्स, नमस्कार।